All right, this is my recap of Phish Forest Hills, July 22nd and 23rd. So, when we last left off on the episode, I had just gone to Chicago, and that was a Friday, Saturday, Sunday night show. And so then Monday, I flew to New York. And what was convenient is remember how I was with my friend's mom and I had her stay with me in Chicago? So that friend was going to New York City and she is a tech person. And so she was going to be working from her tech office in New York City. And so she was also going to New York, which meant it was very convenient for me to go. You know, again, sharing hotels and all that. So it was convenient. And so we fly to, by the way, like it was so convenient because O'Hare is a United hub. And I was smart thinking, you know what? It's the best airport in New York City that's the least utilized is LaGuardia. LaGuardia is like the Burbank of, because in LA, Burbank is the like smaller airport that you just, if you fly to, it's just so much better. So I saw that they had like a flight every hour to LaGuardia. And so I booked a flight and it was at 12. And I was like, hey, to the mom, I was like, let's just go early to the airport. And if we happen to get standby on the earlier flight, we'll just take it. So we tried to get on the 10 a.m., but they only had one seat for me and not her. But then we were able to get on the 11 a.m. So I was like, great, we're arriving in New York an hour earlier. And then LaGuardia is like a breeze. That's me. Looked pretty good for having just attended 3 nights. We landed. I was excited. Look how good LaGuardia is. It's just excellent. I can't explain it. Coming down. And it was all remodeled. Last time I went to LaGuardia, that had to be a while back, maybe 10 years ago or more, honestly, because I usually fly to JFK or Newark. But it was all remodeled now and like really nice. And did I talk in this? No, it's just me with I Love New York. Okay, so then I got to Manhattan. They had like a really easy Uber lot situation. Yeah, you know, just like parking lot Uber, walk there really easily, get an Uber. We took the Uber down to like Chelsea area, and after we got settled into the hotel. Okay, so that
I
night,
got recognized in New York City from my TikToks. Okay. So I was at the Comedy Cellar at the Tom Papa show. He basically records like a variety comedy show for SiriusXM. And I'm like walking in with my friends, and a guy's like sitting down, and he later I realized was a friend of the comedian, like of Tom Papa. And basically he was like, "Are you the fish girl from TikTok?" And I'm like, "Yes, who are you?" You know? And he's like, "Oh, I see your videos all the time." And I'm like, "No, that's impossible. Like, I live in California. Like, no, like it can't be." And like, yes, I was getting recognized a lot at like the Fish concerts recently. And I figured, okay, it's like a niche market. But to be just like out and about in New York City at like mainstream places, and people are like, "Are you that girl from TikTok?" But specifically the Fish girl.
okay, so why this was kind of cool is that there's this Village Underground and there's like a comedy cellar there. And my friend loves going to comedy. So whenever we go to New York City, she's always like booking comedy shows. And it was a Monday. So the show was this Tom Papa, you know, Sirius XM show. It was just a variety show of like musical comedy acts and comedy acts. And so it turns out, so as we're walking in, we're kind of arriving towards the end. There's these like two guys sitting in these couch chairs kind of before you go downstairs. And then this guy was like, "Are you the fish girl?" And then I realized later the other guy sitting with him was Tom Papa himself, who's like a pretty good big comedian. And then they were like, I was like, "Yeah, I'm here for like the Forest Hill shows." And then he's like, "Oh, we're going to be going tomorrow night." And I was like, "Oh, cool." So it's kind of a combination of like Phish fans were everywhere, but also what was cool about that is that like my friend is not doesn't know anything about Phish, and she isn't even on social media really. So I've been telling her that like my channel's getting pretty big and stuff, but she's kind of like, okay. And she knew I was going to be famous eventually. I mean, the first thing she said to me when she met me in 2014 was, "You need your own TV show because you're really entertaining." Like she just loved hearing me talk and tell my stories about my life. Like she thought it was like the funniest thing. She's like, "You're so funny and you need a TV show and stuff." I was like, okay. So for her to see that happen in real life, like to see me get recognized from social media in New York City of all places, she was like, oh my God, you're actually famous. Like it kind of validated me with my own friends, I guess. So that was like why it was cool for me. But we basically just went out to like a number of bars in the village. It was Monday, so it was a little bit quiet. And I have to say, like obviously in summer, a lot of people leave New York. That's just how it is. But secondly, I actually really think like since COVID, people just don't go out as much on Mondays like they used to. Like I feel like New York City used to be good. Like any day of the night, any day of the week, you could go out and like people would be out and about. And I just felt like New York now is a little bit dead on Mondays. And it's kind of sad because it's one of those things where you're like, I just would hope that New York is always the city that never sleeps kind of thing. But it's a little bit not. And I think it's a lot of like to do with also the younger generations. Apparently they don't like drink, which is very healthy for them. But and maybe they don't have money. That's the other thing I heard, that like Gen Zs don't have. I'm not people hate when I generalize. Some Gen Zs have a lot of money and they're like crypto kings and they're like Instagram model, whatever. Some Gen Zs are very successful in tech and banking and whatever. I know that some have money, but a lot of Gen Zs don't have money and so they don't go out apparently. But I don't know. I don't know what it is, or maybe people are healthy and they just want to go to the gym on Tuesday morning. So I kind of called it early. Plus I was tired, so they went. They were in line at Employees Only, which I've been to like many times, and I was like, I'm just gonna go back. And the next day, I walked around. I did the High Line. I was looking over my set lists. Phish tour. And then I reported that. Phish, traveling for the band. I'm headed through Manhattan right now to the F train so that I can head out. So I did have a concert buddy for the Forest Hills show, for both shows, who I had met at a different Phish show. So I was not going through New York City by myself, by the way. I had a companion for the subway and all that. So in case you guys were worried. Because in Chicago, I was like taking Ubers and stuff. And then in New York, when I looked it up, I was like, oh my God, it's so much better to take the F train, which is the express version of the M, to Forest Hills. So easy. It was like 30 minutes. It was like so easy. And I'm like, dude, New York is great, like for public transportation. Phish, so that I can head out to Forest. Phish. There's in the subway. Okay, now once we got to Forest Hills, this is the part I was trying to show you guys. Literally, notice how many men are in these videos, okay? Like literally in United Center, Chicago, it was like 60-40 men, women, and I was like, oh, there's tons of women here. When I got to Forest Hills, I was just walking in a sea of men. And yes, there were some women there, like don't get me wrong, and there was like plenty of cute girls and stuff like that. Like I actually saw a lot of cute girls, but proportionally, it was such a small percentage. Look at all these men in these next few videos. Okay, this is just walking into the venue, which by the way is a little bit of a cluster F because the venue is not designed for like a large mass of people. It kind of all funnels into this alleyway and then you're like really crowded and then they don't have like the proper crowd control when you get to the stadium. So we were kind of like really crammed in there. At one point I was like thinking of a strategy if there was a stampede. I was like, where am I going to go? And I literally saw that to the right there was like this fence I could climb, and then I was like, oh, even though there's barbed wire, I could then get to the top of the fence and then hop over that brick wall. I saw like a place where I could hop over, so I was like, okay, that's my strategy if there starts to be a stampede, because that's how packed in we were into this thing. So I didn't like that. That would be my critique of the old design. So yeah, getting off the train, it's just like men. Let me mute all these. So these are men. Men. Oh, there's one girl right there. One woman. Oh, I think this girl is a girl too. There's one woman and like 30 men. There's like 50 men and I see like one woman. Here's entering the stadium. So eventually we got into the stadium, it was okay. But on the first night, it was really confusing because we had the floor, but they didn't give us our floor bands when we walked in. So then when we tried to get to the floor area, they were like, where are your wristbands? We're like, what wristbands? And we had to go back to the beginning and then get someone to give us wristbands, but it was really disorganized. And they're like, you need to show us the thing and your ID, blah, 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 blah. But we got our wristbands. And then I thought that was cool, so I filmed this. I put this outfit together. It was kind of like, I was like, oh, I'll wear a tennis skirt because it's a tennis court. And then I had just bought that strapless top at Aritzia on the summer sale. And I was like, oh, I don't really wear green, but why not mix it up? I was gone for like a week, so I had to bring like outfits for 5 different shows and make them all slightly different from each other. And it was hot, so I didn't want to wear like my high socks that day. Okay, so then this is what the stadium looked like. It's very old fashioned looking. It's very cool. I like that they had a scent of a mango mule because if you guys don't know, scent of a mule is a Phish song. So I saw that I was like, oh my god, like I need to take a picture of that. Like that is so genius. Like whoever came up with that, like the custom cocktail for the Phish show. So yeah, but there were vendors everywhere. And then they had this weird like ADA section right there in front on the page side. So I didn't love it. So that's why we moved to the mic side for the other sets and the second night. But this was a pretty good spot considering we didn't get there like 2 hours early. Kind of crammed in. They're coming on. Mike's shirt was pretty cool. Okay. That's this cue. Maybe I can turn the sound on. I still haven't started yet. MoMA Dance. So they open with MoMA Dance, which is a really common opener. They've been opening with MoMA Dance a lot. So some people think it's kind of like overdone, but it was a groove. That's the rig.
Consume me and strengthen my will to appease.
It was cool to see all the people. Stash, right? Yeah, and I have the little like Phish app for the shows that I went to. So, yeah, Rift, MoMA Dance, Rift, Sigma Oasis, Possum, Wolfensberger, Stash, Blaze On was next. Oh yeah, okay. Then I got happy because they did Eye on the Walrus, and I love the Beatles. You guys know that. If the sun don't come, you get a tan from standing in the English rain. Right, pick set break, fan. I had one of those fans. I put it in there. Oh yeah. Okay, you guys, I have this thing with Karini. It's kind of like a long-standing joke, but basically, well, I think probably like the 5th song I reacted to was Karini, and I remember being like, "What is this?" Because remember, I had not heard much of the band. I'd heard Mole, the Mike song, Mull. Then I heard Yam. I was like, "Oh, this is good." Then I heard Divided Sky. I was like, "Oh, this is good." And then I heard Karini, and I'm like, "What the heck? This is like a metal song, you know?" And I was like, "It's okay." And I was like iffy on Karini. Then I like recorded this video before my San Francisco show, my first show, and I go, with my luck, I'm gonna get Karini. And then I got Karini, and so then my Phish follower fans who watch my live streams during shows, which I sometimes am able to do and sometimes not, it just depends on the circumstance, they decided to call me Eric Karini. So my Phish name is Eric Karini. And so I've been kind of like, all right, I'm going to get another Karini just like my first show. So I've been like waiting for my Karini. So I was like, maybe I'll get Karini in Chicago, okay? So what do I get? I get a Karini second set opener, and it ends up being a 28-minute Karini with like a really long jam, which was epic. So like set 2, let me turn this up, play into the microphone. So on for quite a while. It was good. I was so into it. Also, that night we got a tweezer. We went right into it. From Karini. Why is that important? Because then later I got my first tweezer reprise, as you guys think that I say reprise wrong, but technically it is reprise because it's a French word and that's how you pronounce it. But everyone calls it reprise, so I'll say tweezer reprise. I got the reprise in the encore. So that was my first tweezer reprise. But you have to have a tweezer to get a reprise. Sometimes you get it a few nights later, but I got the tweezer and the tweezer reprise in the same show. So I was really excited about that. Okay, what's going through your mind? The theme of the summer, okay? Literally, what's going through your mind. They played it in Austin. I think they played it in Chicago, at least in my mind. They played it in Chicago, and it's going through my mind. And then I got it in Forest Hills, my new favorite song. I like it because it's a multi-verse song. You get like a lot of lyric material, which isn't always in a lot of Phish songs, but they go through a lot of verses. They tell a whole story in this song. And then they go on for a while with these long jams. They've had some pretty long what's going on in your mind jams. So it's kind of become this new jam vehicle. I like it a lot. What else? A Life Beyond the Dream. You know, it's one of these kind of songs. A life you can see, life beyond the dream. It's kind of nice, you know, idealistic love, imagining like, you know, one day finding some kind of great life that you can envision. Very romantic. Oh my god. Then I got my Harry Hood. Okay, then I got my Harry Hood closer, and I just had a Harry Hood opener 4 nights earlier. So it was great. And then there were like glow stick wars going on, but according to like some 1.0s I talked to who were there, they were like, that was a very weak glow stick war compared to what it used to be. It was hard to sneak in glow sticks. But yeah, they're like, I just hope you weren't disappointed with the quality of the glow stick war. I was like, it was fine. I mean, I didn't get hit by any glow sticks. I put some glow sticks in my hair because I had like the ponytail I could like stick them into. I love this song. Speaking of songs that slap, it literally starts like a reggae song, and you're like, what's going on? You know, Harry Head just like out there. Slappy bass. Harry, where do you go when the lights go out? Harry, Harry. And the rest of Harry Hood is just epic. I can't even go into all the details. Okay.
I didn't need to hide.
Anyway, I like to get those crowd shots. Oh yeah, here we go. The Harry Hood glow stick war. It was okay.
Thank you, Mr. Minor.
Mr. Minor. Thank you, Mr. Minor. Yeah, so then the encores were Slave to the Traffic Light, More, and Tweezer Reprise, whatever. Trey was jumping around, he was all happy. It was so good, and then I got a few more pictures. Look at the floor after, it's gross. Okay, then this is exiting. And then, okay, so that was the whole, when was this? The next day, I'm guessing? Yes, okay, so then I skipped the whole going home part, and then I skipped back to here I am, back in the venue, this time wearing neon, so you can't miss me, okay? And I did a different neon outfit, because I wore this neon top in Chicago, but that was with a black bottom, and now I wore it with a pink tennis skirt with the pink sunglasses and pink pigtails. Cute, right? I thought it was cute. Very tennis, very fitting in the Forest Hills. There we go. 0.5 zoom selfie. And then, let's see. So this other show, Forest Hills Night 2, we open with Free. Oh my God, that was so awesome. Also, I know a bunch of my friends,
It got away.
but a lot of my friends love Free, and they would love to have that as an opener. And my show companion, buddy, whatever, was like, oh my God, I hope I hear Free tonight. Like that was one of the like requests, like, you know, that they were hoping to hear. And then what do we get right away? Free. Why make us wait when we can have it as the opener? So we have Free opener. Nothing as good as this riff, honestly. The Free riff is like so iconic. It's really, really good. Yeah, so then we were Mike's side. And, you know, it's daylight. Okay, that's already the second half. I feel like I took so few videos because I was like so into it. Second song, Back on the Train, which I thought was good because I was like, oh, we had to get back on the train because we almost took the M. And I was like, no, the M is local. Let's get off the train and get back on the F train. So I was like, oh, cool. Theme from the bottom. Oh my God, Cities. Cities is like my freaking jam now. Cities is a Talking Heads cover. Oh my God. This Cities was so good. I just think about it all the time. Find your city. Find yourself a city to live in.
Think of London, small city, dark, dark in the daytime. People sleep in the daytime. If they want to, I'm checking them out. I'm checking them out. I've got it figured out. I'm the one who's got it figured out.
Some good ones, some bad ones.
But it all works out. I'm just a freak out.
Find yourself a city to live in. This is so my groove. I wish the audio was better on this phone, but I'm sorry. Find your city, find yourself a city to live in. So good. Okay, so Cities was good. Okay, Divided Sky. It was my second time hearing Divided Sky because I heard it in Austin. And I was really looking forward to hearing Divided Sky the first time I heard it, and I loved hearing it the second time. I danced to Divided Sky the whole time. It's an art to dance to Divided Sky because it's a very weird composition with very weird rhythm that changes all the time. But I know Divided Sky so well in my mind, like the memory of it. Yeah, and it's composed, so you always know what's going to happen. I loved it. I danced. I was dancing the whole time. I was like so into Divided Sky. Timber at their edge. And then we end with the Screaming Coil, which of course Paige was his epic piano solo to end the first half. I thought that was excellent. I heard the Screaming Coil in Austin also. So there's a lot of Austin repeats in the Forest Hill shows, to be fair. Now this part of the video is when they came back, second set opener, Punch You in the Eye, which I also got a Punch You in the Eye opener in Austin, but it was a first set opener. So again, just a little bit of repeating here and there. I just love to see their salsa combo. Oh, Wilson, punch you in the eye, oh, Wilson. Oh yeah, the story of the ghost. Okay, you know how there's a place called Astoria, New York? So there was a girl that had a hat that said Astoria of the Ghost. Astoria of the Ghost. And I was like, oh my God, that's so good. And she wore that hat and then they played Ghost. So I was like, cool, you know? Um, okay, the rest of this playlist was What's the Use, Ruby Waves, Backward Down the Number Line, that's fun. Backwards down the number line, Character Zero, good closer. Um, very fan favorite. Then the encore was Sneakin' Sally Through the Alley, Wilson, and Rocky Top. You know, Rocky Top being a classic bluegrass song. Wilson, I don't think I had heard Wilson, or I hadn't, if I'd heard Wilson, it was in San Francisco, and I didn't know what Wilson was back then, but now I know all about Wilson, and love Wilson. And they got to do that as a encore, and Sneaking Sally Through the Alley. The lights get so good once it gets dark. Oh, by the way, Forest Hills was my first outdoor show, so I've never had the thing of starting in the daytime and then it gets dark, and then just being outside versus like being inside a like temperature controlled place. That's why I brought the fan. Anyway, then we got on the train. Here's all the bros leaving the show. And yeah, I think that's my last video. I mean, I took other cute. I made my little video of me like going through New York City, like getting there and like walking around a little bit. But that was basically the summary of the shows. I thought they were great, basically. It was a more intimate setting. Oh, but it was a disaster. I mean, look, there's not enough bathrooms in Forest Hills, and they're gender neutral, which means I have to wait in line with all the men, which takes forever. And it was not organized like whoever's in the front of the line goes the next stall. It was like pick a random door and stand in front of it, and hopefully that person isn't taking forever. But I got unlucky the second night, and I got so frustrated, I just like left the line. I was like, this guy's taking forever, so I just like left. And then I had to use the bathroom at the very end, and then I made it just in time for Punch in the Eye, like barely, like missed the first 10 seconds. So that was a little frustrating. And then again, like the fact that there was like trample risk entering the place. And then it's a little crowded on the floor. Like when we came back the second set and I ended up in a different door, we ended up further up than we'd been before. And there were people being like, go back, don't go. And then finally someone recognized me from YouTube. By chance, I ended up finding a little hole in the space, and a guy's like, and I could see that we were previously maybe just a few more rows ahead of where we had been. So I wasn't that far off from where we had been. And then this guy goes, oh, are you on YouTube? Like someone sent me your YouTube video this morning. I'm like, which one? It's like, oh, when you were like heading to the San Francisco shows. I was like, oh, that's like really old. But I was like, oh, hi, yes, that's me. So because I got recognized from YouTube, I was able to stand by this person, and then we kind of just like found space there and got to watch the rest of the show there, Mike's side, not too far back. But yeah, but it was overall a really great experience, and just being able to take like public transportation to the show, and then just like having a great show overall. And some people recognized me. Some people DM me and like, oh, I saw you, but then like I couldn't get to you, or one girl wanted to give me stickers, but we couldn't get to each other. It was too crowded. And then we were like thinking of going to like those after parties. Like there was like Brooklyn Bowl, Eggy was playing, and then like there was all stuff going on the second night too. But in the end, I just wanted to go to sleep. Remember, I did 5 shows in 6 days, so I was like pretty exhausted. So yeah, it was like a lot of fun though. And that's great. And what a great life if I could just like always travel around summer tour. And people are a little bit like, how has she been doing this? You guys, you know I'm a teacher, okay? I teach my own private studio. So one, some of my lessons are online. In the summer, most of my students go on vacation anyway. So instead of having like 25 students a week, I'll have like 5 to 8 students a week. So it's a lot more manageable. So then if I'm taking off a week, I'm like, okay, I'm only like missing a few students, or I'm rescheduling them around my trip kind of thing. So it wasn't that crazy. It's a lot easier for me to travel in the summer. So that's also why I did this trip when I did this trip. To do this trip randomly in like in October would be harder, because I'd be like, you know, leaving a bunch of money on the table by like missing a week of clients would be a little bit of a more difficult situation. I mean, it's a nice problem to have, but that was partially the reason why this all worked out with the timing it did. So absolutely, I had a great time. And again, just kind of the convenient thing of like my friend's mom sharing the hotel with me in Chicago. So then like And I was able to get that hotel on points, but then she's going to pay me for half of the room anyway. So it's like we split Ubers, you know, then my other friend was staying in New York too. That's convenient because New York hotels are expensive. So it's like just stuff like that that kind of worked out for me to go to these shows. Um, so yeah, I absolutely am glad. And now everyone wants me to go to Hampton. So it looks like I'm going to try to go to Hampton September 19th, 20th, 21st, which will be like a 2 month hiatus for me. But in the meantime, I have Dead and Company. I might see King Gizzard. There's a lot of other shows locally just around San Francisco Bay Area that aren't like jam bands, but like good music is coming to town. So there's definitely no shortage of things I can see. But yes, that is my recap of the Forest Hill shows. I loved everything. I loved that I guess I'd say like my high points would be that I really am glad I got a Carini opener again because I really wanted to hear Carini on this trip. I'm really glad I got the Tweezer reprise because I hadn't had it before. I always love Punch You in the Eye. I would have wanted to get a Fluff Head or a Yem, but I know that they're saving it for SPAC, so that's why I wasn't going to get it. But I already have had a Yem in my like second San Francisco show. I got a Yem Encore. I also got a Fluff Head, I think, in San Francisco. So I'm doing pretty good on my stats overall, and I got a lot of other good things. And just like Free was a great opener. Um, yeah, I heard so much things. I'd never heard Blaze On, Sigma Oasis. I love that I got the I Am the Walrus closer. I mean, for set one. I also got the Guitar Gently Weeps encore in Chicago. Uh, Harry Hood. I got two Harry Hoods, because I got the one in Chicago and then the one in New York. So, um, yeah. So I am just back and reflecting upon my fishdom and just enjoying it and starting my new series of why this Phish song slaps. Also the Grateful Dead, learning all about that. I'm so excited to hear the Dead and Company live and just like get to experience that. I've heard enough Grateful Dead songs now that I don't think I'm going to be completely lost. I actually think I'm going to be like super excited, especially they're going to play all the hits that I like. So I'm super excited about that too. Very different vibe, very different like dance style, but I like that. Any music and live music is just good for the soul. And I'll meet more friends there, 60,000 people. So I think I'm having a good summer. So anyway, thanks for tuning in on Erica Reacts. And this was my Forest Hills recap. And this is not my real voice, but sometimes I talk in it. Okay, bye.